Okay, so now what we're going to talk about is the new hire process. So this is something that, um, these are things that everybody goes through, forms they've got to fill out, um, tax forms, whatnot, that will, everybody's got to fill out whenever they start a new job. So just want to break down some of those, break down a few of the common terms so that everybody's sort of on the same page when they show up for their first day of work. They're not overwhelmed by the paperwork that you've got to do. Good news is most places have HR, human resources folks that will help you with this stuff if you get confused. They may even do it for you. You never know. So you want to just, but you kind of want to just have some idea of what's going on in this new hire process. Okay. So the first thing I want to talk about is an offer letter. Has anybody here ever gotten an offer letter from a job? Anybody? No.
No,
Okay.
sir.
And a lot, yeah, and a lot of that is it's it's generally more towards the professional job, the more the more like corporate type stuff. I've never gotten one before until I got this job, but this is an offer letter, and this is what an offer letter looks like. So if you ever get one, you're not going to be confused as to what it is. And basically, an offer letter contains your start date, it contains your planned schedule, it contains your reporting structure, like basically who's your boss. An offer letter will tell you your salary. You check your hourly rate, your commission plan, any bonuses. Okay. Your offer letter will tell you everything you need to know about your job. Okay. In an offer letter, it just may say, if we want to you look at it, Dear John, we're pleased to offer you a position with Eckerd Connects as a customer service rep, contingent upon the successful completion of a background check. This conditional offer of employment does not create a contract of employment. Eckerd Connects is and remains an at-will employer, and either Eckerd Connects or you may terminate employment at any time for any reason, with or without cause or notice. Your supervisor will be team leader Jane Doe that you met during the interview process, and will also become part of your new coaching team. Your coaching team. Please contact her if you have any questions. The following items are relative to your new position. Please review them carefully. Start date: report to Jane Doe, supervisor, at 8:30 a.m. on Monday, June 1st, 2019, at 123 Somewhere Street, Nowhere, Maryland, 11111. Salary: your compensation will be paid bi-weekly in the amount of $14 per hour. Your performance will be evaluated continuously throughout your employment, and you will receive an annual performance and compensation review on your hire date anniversary each year. Hours: Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. Enclosures: a team member benefits summary. Sincerely, Gene Doe, Human Resources. So that tells you everything. This offer letter tells you anything you could possibly need to know about your job. What you want to do, you want to keep this offer letter. You're probably going to have to sign it or sign something saying you accept the offer, and you'll send it back to them. But then you keep this offer letter. That way, when you get your first paycheck, you can make sure that the salary they're paying you matches up with what was in your offer letter. Make sure that it's per hour what they said it was going to be. Okay. So this offer letter, if you get one, it's really important. It's just something that you want to look over it carefully, and then just get a folder, put your offer letter in there, and that way you can go back and refer to that offer letter if you ever need to. Okay. So just remember that offer letter, your start date, your planned schedule, reporting structure, and your salary. Okay. Hopefully you all will get some. Hopefully you all will get some jobs that will offer you an offer letter, because that means you're in a corporate job and you're gonna be doing pretty good. Hopefully. So when we talk about benefits, okay, if you say, hey, I'm looking for a job, and you might have heard people say, hey, I'm looking for a job and I need a job with benefits. So what are benefits? Okay, your benefits are health insurance, medical, dental, and vision. Your benefits are leave, annual leave, PTO, and vacation and sick. Benefits are also include retirement, 401k, 403b, and pension plan. So let's cover each of those real quick. Health insurance, y'all, if your place of business offers insurance, you need to take it. Yes, it's money out of your check. I understand that. But the single biggest cause of bankruptcies in the United States, the single biggest cause is medical debt. And I know that when we're, you know, in our 20s, late teens, early 20s, a lot of times you feel like you're invincible. Nothing's going to happen to me. I don't need that. I don't get sick. I'm not going to go in the hospital. But you might. And you could. And once you're in there and you don't have insurance, it's too late. And you're going to rack up potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, depending on what the situation is. Okay. Let your company take a few dollars out of your check every week to pay for medical insurance. Okay. You got to have it. So one of the other things that you look for is a job that offers you leave. So you see here, there's 3 different kinds: annual leave, PTO, vacation, and sick. What does all that mean? So annual leave basically is you accrue for every week, every week that you work, you receive time that you can use to take off for vacation, for the annual leave. Okay. PTO is paid time off. Basically what they do there is they don't determine, it doesn't matter if you're sick, it doesn't matter if you just want to take a day off. It all comes from the same place. They don't have like 2 separate buckets, one for vacation and one for sick. Okay, that's the way the company I'm with now works. Whatever we need, it all comes from the same place. And then the other type is you have vacation pay and you have sick pay. So as you work, you earn hours for vacation and you earn hours for sick. Okay. If you get sick, you have to take sick hours. If you want to go on vacation, you got to take your vacation hours. You generally can't mix the two. Okay. But here's something that you all need to know. So pay attention to this. In Louisiana, if you have vacation pay, not sick pay, but if you have vacation pay saved up and you lose your job, whether you get laid off, whether you quit, whether you get fired, whatever it is, if you have vacation pay saved, the company owes you for that vacation pay. They are required by law to pay you that vacation pay. Okay? That's a big thing. That could be a difference of, it depends on how much vacation time you had saved up. You know, my last job that I left, I had 80 hours of vacation. That's 2 full weeks of pay that they had to give me on top of my last paycheck. Okay. You want to make sure that you keep track of that. And I'm going to tell you how to keep track of that in a minute. Okay. But those are different kinds of leave. And then folks, retirement. Mr. Casey, I'm in my late teens. I'm in my early 20s. Why are you talking to me about retirement? I'm talking about retirement because nobody talked to me about retirement when I was in my teens and 20s. Okay? If you see people who retire and you see them living their best life out there, they retire and they don't seem to have to worry about anything. They don't have to worry about money. All their bills are paid. They get to go on vacations. They get to go do whatever they want. You're wondering, man, how do I do that? How do I get to that point where I'm not retired and just living off Social Security? First of all, when y'all get to retirement age in 40 years, there may not be Social Security. Like, it may just be gone. So you can't rely on that. Okay. How do you do it? How do you go into retirement and be independently wealthy? It's through a 401k, pension plan, 403b. They're basically all the same. So with a 401k, what you do is you tell your employer how much you want to take out of your check. A good amount to take out is about 10%. So like if you made $1,000 a week, you'd take $100 a week out, and you'd put that, your employer invest that into what's called a 401k. And basically that money sits there and it grows and it grows and it grows. It grows slowly, but it grows. At the end of every year, there's interest added to it. Whatever the current interest rate is, they multiply that interest rate and add that total to your money. And then it grows. And every week, so if you're doing $100 a week, that's $400 a month you're putting into your 401k. That might be a little much to start off with, and that's fine. Do 5%. The good news is employers will sometimes match. So they'll say, hey, we'll match you up to 10%. So if you put 5% in, then employer is also going to put in 5%. Basically just free money going into this account. And you don't touch this money. You leave it there. Pretend it doesn't exist. Just have that money taken out of your check and invested. Every single check. If you start doing this now, by the time you all are ready to retire, you could retire with a couple of $1 million in your 401k. That's just how it works. Constantly putting money into it, letting it get invested, then letting the interest compound at the end of every year. It gets added back to it. It gets added back to it. This is how you do this. Okay? No one told me this. No one ever said, hey, this is really important. You should do this. Okay? If y'all take anything away, this is one of those moments. Listen to me on this. If y'all might be thinking, man, Mr. Casey, I don't care about any of this stuff that you're talking about. I know how to do job interviews. I know how to have a good attitude. I'm just doing this so I can get through to my class. That, you know what? If that's okay. If that's what you're doing, that's okay. But listen to me on this. Put some money in a 401k. Once you can afford to do 10%, put 10%. Once you can afford to put 15%, put something in it. Now, if you leave a company, you can still, that money that you've put into your 401k, you still have access to that. And you can still contribute to it. You can just, find out who has it and then contact that company and find out how to keep adding money to it. The one thing that you will lose sometimes when you leave a company is the money that your employer put in. You have to be what's called vested. And sometimes it takes a couple of years, sometimes it takes 5 years to be what they call fully vested, where you will actually then, if you leave, you get to keep the money the company put in too. So just be aware of that. If you leave a company, you still get to keep everything that you put in and all the interest that was there from the money that you put in, but you may lose all or part of what the company put in. It's just how it works. Companies will do that to encourage employees to stay longer. Hey, look, we'll keep putting money in your 401k for your retirement. Okay. So if y'all need to know any more about this, Mr. Joe, the career coach for Acadia and St. Martin, he is extremely smart about all this. I know the basics, and I know that it's very important. If you want to get into more detail about how to do this, you can contact him. Also, if y'all watch the financial literacy video, Miss Crystal Chavis, she's a money manager. She can help you as well. She can help you with retirement and things like that. But start doing it now. If you don't want to be like me, 20 years, 25 years from retirement and trying to play catch up, because that's not fun. So again, you'll want to really pay attention to that. If your company offers health insurance, take it. Retirement, take it. Okay. So what are tax forms? So those are forms used by individuals to direct their employer to withhold state income tax from their pay. So the first sort of form that we're going to look at is an I-9. Okay. The I-9 is used to verify, and y'all, the quiz is going to be a lot about these forms. So if y'all want to take a note, write down what each form is, it'll probably help you on the quiz. Just throwing that out there. The I-9 is employment verification, and the I-9 is used to verify the identity and employment authorization of individuals hired for employment in the United States. Basically, this is a form where you're going to prove that you are a legal resident or a legal immigrant in the United States. Your employer is going to fill this out, but they're going to ask you to make sure that when you come into work for the first day or come in to fill out your new hire paperwork, that you bring your ID and your social security card, because that's what they're going to use to fill out this I-9. Okay. So I-9 is all about citizenship and verifying the identity and employment authorization of individuals that are hired. Okay. That's an I-9. Then there's a W-4. So you want to complete a W-4 form so that your employer is going to withhold the correct amount of federal income tax from your paychecks. Okay. This is not as nearly complicated of a form as it looks like. Okay. You're going to fill out your first name, last name, your social, your address, your city, or state, your city, town, and state. Then you got to find out, are you single? Are you married? Are you filing separately? So if you are married, but you're each filing your own income tax, then that's where you would click, or that's where you check off. Or if you were single, you check off there. If you're married, filing together, then you would check off there. Or if you're the head of household, so this might apply to some of you. Okay, if you are unmarried and you pay more than half of the cost of keeping up at home for yourself and a qualifying individual, girlfriend, or romantic partner, child, someone like that. If you pay more than half the cost of keeping up the home, you're the head of household. So figure out one of those and you would check that off. Okay. Then if you have multiple jobs or your spouse works, this will tell you, just follow the directions there. Okay. Step 3, this would be the most important, would be your dependents. Okay. How many children do you have that are under the age of 17 that you directly take care of, that you are responsible for? You'd multiply that number times 2,000. So if you have 2 kids, you'd multiply 2 times 2,000. That would be 4,000. You put 4,000 right there. You have anyone else that depends on you, okay? You would multiply that times 500. Then you'd add those two together and put it right here, okay? That's going to get deducted from your taxes. If you have any income coming in that you want withheld, so if you have dividends, or if you have investments, or if you had, an inheritance or something like that, you're going to put that there. That's going to get taxed. Okay? If you have any other deductions, if you do charitable giving, any kind of deductions you might get that you have receipts for that you can get a break on your taxes, you want to put that there. And if you're one of those people that likes to have extra money withheld from their check so that they get a bigger refund at the end of the year, I don't understand that. I mean, you're basically just like taking that money away for right now and just getting it later. But if you're one of those people, you can put that there. I say if you're going to have extra money taken away from your check, just put that in your 401k instead of waiting for it to come back at the end of the year. So then you would just add all those up and you'd sign it and date it, and then your employer takes it from there. Okay. Whenever you first see W-4, it looks scary, but it's not. And if you have any questions, you should be able to ask your company HR person. So remember, the W-4 is how they determine how much money they're going to take out from your taxes. Take out of your your income for the taxes. Okay. So we're going to skip his video. So then you're going to get paid. And most places don't do paper checks anymore. Most places do things direct deposit. You may see a program called ADP, Kronos, UltraPro. You may even have this would be like, these are like time card, basically electronic time cards. You may work for a place that has the old school, tan time cards that you punch into a clock. You put into a clock and it makes a hole in it or time stamps it. The big thing here, folks, is you want to make sure that you clock in as soon as you get to work. Don't work off the clock. Clock in. When you leave for a break, clock out. You come back from a break, clock in. And when you leave for the day, clock out again. Okay? There's 4 times you have to clock. 2 times you clock in and 2 times you clock out every day. Why? Why is this important? Because when HR is figuring out your payroll, you don't want them to have to figure out missing days. Well, did you work this day? Well, there's no clock in. What time did you leave? There's no clock out. There's none of that. It can delay you getting paid. It can make your HR person pull their hair out, right? You don't want to make anyone in the office upset. Be responsible for yourself. Clock in, clock out, clock in, and clock out again. Just make sure that you keep that together, because it's going to make your life a lot easier. And it's going to make your HR people's lives a lot easier. Okay? Be responsible and clock in and clock out. Where's your money going to go? It all depends. Do you have a bank account? You want to get a bank account, folks. Why? Casey, why should I have a bank account? The big thing about a bank account is your money is insured by the federal government for up to $250,000. So if you have $1,000 in the bank and the bank goes under, or there's something happens, your money is insured. Okay, that's the FDIC. Okay, your money will be insured. Safe when you go and apply for credit of any kind. If you apply for credit, you're gonna need to more than likely have a bank account. They probably aren't going to. It's gonna hurt your chances, I think, if you don't have a bank account. If you're looking, if you're using an app or something like that. A bank account shows people that you're stable. It shows people that you're responsible. It shows, it's the grown-up thing to have is a bank account. Okay, you're going to generally need your state ID or a passport. You're going to need a social security card, a physical address, and you'll need to make an opening balance or deposit. Okay, this is the safest place to put your money, is in a bank. Okay, there's all kinds of different banks now. There's big banks, little banks, banks that you can deposit your money online. It'll go to a bank somewhere else. So just be sure that you have a safe place for your money to go. If this says your first paycheck may take up to 3 weeks to process, I've never had a check take that long. Generally, your paycheck will get direct deposited. Sometimes you'll get a paper check for your first check, and then after that, it'll all go direct deposit. If for some reason you don't want a bank account, you can do it. You can have your direct deposit go to different apps: Google Pay, Venmo, Apple Pay. Okay? It's called a non-traditional account. Cash App. No deposits necessary. Generally, they're smartphone friendly, but you might also get fees. I know right now, I think it was, I want to say it's Venmo. or PayPal. Now, person-to-person transactions are going to start getting taxed next year. Now, I used to be able to be like, okay, I'm giving this money to a friend, friend or family, and it wouldn't get taxed. But from what I understand, it's going to start getting taxed now. So that was kind of that loophole, and then there's no loophole there anymore. So there's really no reason to not have a bank account. Okay. But again, it's up to you. Be sure your money's going somewhere. So then let's look at understanding a pay stub. I'm pretty sure. Does anybody here not know how to read a pay stub? Is anybody here confused by anything on a pay stub? If so, I'll go over it. Like, don't be afraid to ask a question. Is there something that's always sort of bothered you about pay stubs, or something that you've looked at and went, I'm not sure about that? Anybody? We good? Okay. So the main thing to look at is your hourly rate, or how many hours you worked, times your hourly rate. Make sure that it matches what you worked. So keep your time cards, or keep your, keep track of when you clocked in and clocked out. Okay. Make sure it matches your hours. These hours match what you have. Make sure you're getting paid the amount of money you're supposed to be getting paid. Multiply the hours times the rate and get your gross pay. What's the difference between gross and net pay? Your gross pay and net pay, what's the difference? Anybody?
Gross pay is before taxes. Your net pay is after taxes.
Yep, that's it. Great way to think of it is, hey, this is my money. Oh, gross, I got to pay taxes on it. And the net pay is like, all right, this is what I'm bringing home in my net. This is what I'm bringing home. This is what I'm netting. So a lot of times, if you apply for benefits, or if you apply for credit of any kind, they generally are going to want to know your gross pay, which in applying for credit, that could help because it boosts up it makes your income look a little bit bigger, but it also can, if you're applying for any kind of benefits, it could cause it to be a problem because maybe it looks like you make too much money. But they're going to go by gross pay. Okay. Make sure, if you're whatever percentage you're deducting out in your 401k, make sure that matches. Okay. And just make sure everything looks good. Now, the biggest thing I can say about check stubs, and again, write this down, take it with you forever. If you don't get paid by a paper check and you get paid direct deposit only, you're going to still have access to a pay stub. Whether your company gives you a pay stub or whether there is a website that you can go onto to log in and get your pay stub. That's good. Every week when you get paid, go in, access your pay stub, make sure everything is correct, make sure your money matches, then print up that pay stub and keep it. Put it in a folder, keep it. Mr. Casey, why do I have to keep my pay stubs? Because if there's a global pandemic and everybody's job shuts down and you have to file for unemployment, you're going to need your pay stub so that you can prove how much money you made. If you can't prove how much money you made, you're not going to be able to draw unemployment. If you lose your job and you lose access to that company website with your pay stubs on it, you're not going to be able to access those pay stubs. It's too late then to go back and get them. As someone who has been through what we went through for the past 18 months, and I saw how desperate it was when people were trying to file for unemployment, but they couldn't find pay stubs. Again, if y'all ever listen to me on anything about any of this, print up that pay stub, put it in a folder. You will be glad that you did. I promise. Okay? Keep track of this stuff and check it every week and make sure you're getting paid what you're supposed to be getting paid. Okay. Make sure you're not getting, not getting cheated out of any money or anything like that. All right. So then finally, we get our W-2. That's everybody's favorite tax form. At the end of the year, W-2 shows how much money you made. Again, you can take your check stubs, you can add all those up and make sure that it matches. Make sure that it's correct. And you take that to your tax preparer or you take it to your favorite website and you do it yourself. And then you file it and hopefully you get a nice, good tax refund. And that's that. So W-4 is how much taxes you want taken out. W-2 is your tax statement that you take to get looked at. I-9 was about citizenship and right in the are you able to work? Okay. All right. So any questions about any of the new hire stuff? Good.